This is how it feels to be in love. This is life from above. There's no books anymore.
Hello everyone, hope you guys have been doing pretty well lately. I've been working on a lot of projects lately, a lot of music videos. I just got my wisdom teeth taken out, so I still got a little bit chipmunk. I don't think it's too bad anymore though. But recently I did a music video with a local artist. Her name's Micah Sage, and we were doing pre-production for it, and it really felt like a music video where I wanted to go for something pretty filmic looking within the color grade and the cinematography, and just delving into some inspiration for it. I ended up watching the movie Tree of Life, directed by Terrence Malick, and just absolutely loved the naturalistic cinematography going on in that, and the colors that were coming out of the film stock and the film print used for that, and obviously whatever color work they did as well just looked insane. And a couple months back, Dehancer had reached out to potentially do a video together where I'd be able to try out their software, their plugin for DaVinci Resolve. So I figured this would be the perfect time. So the cool thing is that you can actually go on to IMDb and find technical specifications for a lot of movies and TV series out there and see what cameras they were shot on and what film stocks and then film prints that they got printed on. So this was a perfect combo for essentially trying to start out with the look DNA for something like the Tree of Life. And real quick, do be advised that Dehancer did provide me the software for this review, but I'm going to be giving my honest thoughts, positive and negative, on using it with my workflow as a cinematographer, working on music videos, commercials, and also coloring a lot of my own work, how it will play into that. But this video, I actually want to provide you guys a bit more value and insight into how I would actually color grade a music video and actually group clips together, create a look for specific scenes, and then go on more of a clip level, make adjustments so that everything can match up. So Micah had edited this video, and then she sent me an XML file. She edited in Final Cut Pro, sent me an XML file, and then I could bring it into DaVinci. I reconnected the clips to the original B-raw files. These clips were shot on Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro, and now I'm grouping the different scenes. Very important step, because then it's much easier to create looks per scene, tailor them for that scene, and then just have to make slight clip adjustments to dial in each and every clip. And real quick, we are going to be using the DaVinci Wide Gamut Intermediate as our timeline color space. And then since we're on a Mac, we're going to be doing Rec 709A output color space. And then use Mac Display color profiles for viewers. Okay, so first in our group pre-clip for this scene, we're going to do a color space transform, and we're going to do what we shot it on, which was Film Gen 5 Blackmagic, and then that DaVinci Wide Gamut Intermediate. And then this is just a little node tree that I had prior that I'll just usually start with for making looks in our group post clip. And at the end here, we're going to be doing Dehancer, putting on DaVinci Wide Gamut Intermediate, and then a color space transform at the end now after Dehancer to get us from Wide Gamut to Rec 709A out. And just disregard the other nodes in this tree for now. We'll return back to them after we've made some Dehancer adjustments. Alright, so I don't know who's paying attention at the beginning, but the Tree of Life was shot on Kodak Vision 2 200T and Vision 2 500T. So we're just going to try to find, the closest similar thing to that, which is Vision 3 200T, I believe. And then it was printed on Fuji Eterna CP3523. So we're going to do 3513. I'm not like super versed in what the differences between a 1 and a 2 are there, and that sort of stuff, and with how actually accurate these presets are. But we're going to roll with them and see what happens. And then they have some other options here to tweak our film processing, I guess you could call it, or developing in the film developer here. So we can up our color boost a little bit. We can turn on this film compression, which is a great setting. Really allows us to bring back some of our highlights here in a pretty filmic looking way. And then here's actually our print where we can change our target white, which is just kind of like white balance within the film print, up the color density a bit and saturation in here. And then they have plenty of film grain options as well. I usually will just do just a little bit. So I just picked the lowest ISO 65mm one, turn down the amount quite a bit. You can also play with their halation setting. Again, I don't know, I don't like to crank it too much. This bloom is nice. It's just like a little bit of a glow on the image. And that's about what we're getting for Dehancer. There's obviously plenty of more options too for like different film mats and film breathing and essentially, anything you could want. But mostly what I'm trying to get out of it for this look creation here is just purely doing the look, like the color processing, a little bit of glow, also retaining our highlights in a pleasing way, and maybe getting it in a similar world to a Tree of Life kind of film. You'll see that I'm not going to have it in exactly that same world. I'm going to go for something a little bit more saturated and stuff here, but still that look DNA from the film stock and film print. But anyway, let me stop yapping about that stuff for a second here, because we got some clip level adjustments, which are very important. And we're just starting in an exposure node and essentially adjusting our lift gamma gain. Add a bit of contrast here. Tweaking the pivot too. And then we'll push a little bit more cool, see what it looks like. Play with our tint a little bit. And then next I'm going to show you guys a little Cullen Kelly saturation trick, which is color space HSV here. And then you go into channels, take off channel 1 and 3 so that you're just channel 2, which is saturation. And then I just adjust the gain for essentially more of like a color density adjuster rather than like straight DaVinci saturation, which I could go into a bunch of detail about, but Cullen Kelly has an amazing video on that. I also am using his clip node tree here as well, and even that group, that post clip group tree is pretty based off his as well. And then just for some additional interest into our image here, we're going to do some power windows and some in and outs here. So yeah, just an easy way is just to make a power window like I did, and then you can just add outside so that you have control on the inside and outside of it if you want to brighten some things inside and do a little outside vignette. And I'm just using the offset wheel there. And I'm liking how things are coming along here, but I think we could still get a bit more out of our colors and a bit more color contrast as well, maybe. And one of my favorite ways to do that is doing a split tone within our RGB curves. So I'm back in the group post clip, and I'm essentially gonna first grab a skin qualifier here, and then split up so that I'm just in my R, G, and B channels individually. And essentially I'm just making first an S curve with all of them, and then I'm going to go in and tweak so that it kind of tints our highlights and shadows one way or another. And I just like that little mid-tone qualify just to like protect our skin tones a bit more, because I'm liking where they're at, so I don't really want to be tinting them one way or another. So yeah, as you can see, we can get a bit more blue in our sky, which just kind of adds some nice contrast or color contrast into our image. And at the same time, I'm also neutralizing our blacks as well. Make sure our blacks are pure black. Maybe give our shadows a little bit of a teal tint to them. But the pure blacks, we want to keep black. And as you can see, that's nice. Just like pops some blue out of the sky. Bit more color contrast again. You could also do I got the palette node here if I wanted to do some adjustments to specific colors within a hue versus hue or hue versus sat. But I don't really need to do too much for this image. And then one last thing I can do here too is play with softening up that super bright sun we have, which is just playing with the high and high soft under the curves. But in DaVinci Wide Gamut, it's like really sensitive, I found. So I don't really want to push it to like high soft 100 or anything. Yeah, I think it looks pretty sick though. We shot these shots on some old Leica glass as well, that I rented out. And they already have some of these nice like flaring and out of focus characteristics that look a little bit more vintage, which definitely helps with the look. And then another trick is for pulling offset global exposure is going into HDR wheels and setting the actual color space to what you shot it on, and then adjusting the global exposure from there, and maybe some final exposure tweaks. But other than that, it's super easy now to just apply the grade to, well, obviously this is like exactly the same, probably from like exactly the same clip we were filming. So we can just apply that grade easily between these clips, make slight adjustments if we need to adjust the power window maybe. Okay, sweet. And let's move on to another clip, still from the same scene. So we're still in the same group post and group pre clip no trees, if that makes sense. We still have that look applied from before. So it's just mostly a matter of just adjusting on a clip level now, because this one obviously has quite a bit different lighting and look to it and color, but I don't want to be adjusting the look for those other clips that we just graded. So I'll just maybe speed through these adjustments here. Pretty much lift, gamma, gain, contrast going on. We need a bit of a heavy temp adjustment to get it in a similar world to those other clips we were working with. So warming it up quite significantly. Maybe even a little gain push towards orange. And now we can do some power windows, and we could actually do one right on her face. This is something I like to do quite a bit too, is just do a power window right on the subject, just soften it just a little bit, and then essentially just accentuate the key light. In this case it was just the sun obviously, but we can just up the gain and still go for something that's looks a bit natural but pulls them a lot more out of the background. And then we'll add our outside again and just pull down the offset. Even a little bit of warmth too, so that we get some color contrast between her face and the background. And then DaVinci has a super good 3D tracker. Obviously this clip was only like one frame long, so super easy to track. But yeah, now we can just easily apply that same grade and just you'll see me adjusting the power windows and doing a track on them just to make sure that they're still fitting. This is a bit of a wider one, so now we're doing a bit of a bigger power window, not just her face. Okay, so this scene is pretty sick because it's a bit more in the realm of some Tree of Life stuff, I feel like. Just very daylight. I think there even was like a lake scene in Tree of Life. So definitely some inspiration there. But I'm going to try to go over things a little bit quicker since I already explained how to do things in the last one. It's a very similar concept here. We're just going to start actually with that the group post clip that we had from the last group and build off from that. So same film and film print, and then some things that I do adjust every time I switch scenes is the color boost and our like color density, those different things that will like really adjust the overall like saturation of our image, as well the film compression here just to control those highlights. And yeah, the 6K Pro I think did an amazing job with its dynamic range in this scene too. We had them wearing all white as well, which is really nice because there's just a lot of natural bounce going on, and I think the dock even was like pretty white as well. So there's just like a lot of dynamic range to work with here, which is great. So yeah, we basically just left all of our other little settings pretty much the same. But we are going to be making some changes here now that we are kind of working with some different colors. We're working with a lot more greens and blues in this. So we're going to first tackle our split toning here. Same with qualifying out skin tone just to protect that. So that's looking pretty nice. I do definitely want to push for those more like bluey greens or like pure greens. Because like as you could see when I first put on the film print and film look, they're kind of pushing more towards an orange a little bit. And obviously that's also just based on like the actual location itself in real life, what they were looking like. But that split tone already helps us out. And then now I'm doing a hue versus hue and just selecting some of those trees and trying to get it more in that tree of life zone, which just have like beautifully lush greens. And now we're just kind of doing some like minor skin tweaks here just to make sure everything's gonna kind of be lined up. Sometimes I would actually go in and qualify every single clip for skin tones, but if I can already get them in the right zone from the group post clip, then that obviously saves us a lot of time. And then another thing I've been playing with, which has been a fun tool, is the color splice tool, which essentially just already gives you some different hues in your image and just picks them out. And then its adjustments are quite a bit more like filmic. Like they really like will add density to those colors, which essentially all that means is instead of like with just the saturation in DaVinci, it'll be brightening and saturating your image at the same time. But a more filmic looking saturation is actually the luminance is getting decreased on that color as you're essentially making it more saturated. And these are pretty much just the same clip level methods as before. So I'm just speeding up them for y'all. So to be completely honest with you, I kind of had this preconceived notion with Dehancer that it would be this pretty amazing thing right out of the box, and with a snap of the finger, I'd have amazing filmic looking images. And I can't say from my experience that was exactly true. There's definitely some setup to be had and some messing around with different color management workflows to see what will work best with Dehancer. And of course, you have to have beautifully shot images to begin with too. And based on if you shot your footage in natural daylight or as more low light or with tungsten lighting, you might have to decide which film stocks and film prints are going to work the best, obviously, and tweak a bunch of finer settings within Dehancer too, and on a clip level to actually get a good looking image. But it's the same thing with applying a LUT as well. You're always going to have to make a bunch of tweaks to actually get the footage on. It's rarely just a one-click solution when it comes to color grading. Okay, tungsten interior scene. What are we going to do? Don't worry. It won't be that hard. And I'm going to show you. Paste our old look. It looks like shit. But we didn't do this yet. Remember, we got to do this color space transform. Okay, we're back. Group post. Oh yeah, I didn't go into this too, but blur node is also very helpful for making a film look. See, as you can see, I had it at 0.51, so literally just an adjustment of 1, and it really blurs our image a little bit because our digital cameras today with freaking 6K, it's too sharp, man. Okay, we're going into Dehancer. We are gonna mess around a little bit. Let's see what is gonna work best for this type of interior tungsten scenario now. But we're actually still gonna work with the 200T and just do a lot of adjusting. We can first do some target white adjustment to make it a little bit cooler. A little bit of a push-pull on our film here. Which I think is like if you were to underexpose or overexpose the film, like that's kind of what it's trying to do. But I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong there. And then our color density and saturation. Another thing I didn't exactly touch on was the glow node, which can be a really good addition as well. Just the glow effect right in DaVinci. Be sure to change your blending mode to soft light. Take the shine threshold all the way to 0. You will be set. You will thank me later. We're going clip level now. We're feeling super warm and flat, so we're just going to cool this right down. Can do our HDR little adjustment here. Play with some lift, gain, gamma. So it's okay. It's in the world that we want it. What's really going to bring us home, though, is our RGB curves split toning, of course. Because what you couldn't tell before is that there are some daylight sources just coming in through a window that's in the top left corner that you can't see. So now let's start to pull in some of that color contrast, so that's not just a big ol' warm wash across the image. And what can often work great is working with opposites. So if I wanted a bit more blue coming into my shadows, I would just take down, or I guess cyan, is I would just take down the red part of the shadow curve there. And yeah, there we go. We already have like a much more dynamic image as far as colors go. And this is what I was talking about with the glow. So yeah, I just play with the opacity and the shine threshold. You can even play with that little color filter there too. Kind of similar to the bloom effect in Dehancer. I'm not exactly sure what the differences would be. But yeah, it's looking pretty nice. And then, hear me out. We qualify these nice blue walls and make them extra turquoise and blue and nice. Okay. Gamma. Down. Reset. Gain. Down. Looks good. Power window. In. Rotate. Resize. Soften. Gain. Warm. Outside offset down. Guys, it's all just a formula, you know? You feel me? Now there are like a million ways to color grade an image though. And yeah, I feel like for this specific case scenario, Dehancer helps out quite a darn bit. I really think that color grading is such a vital skill to have as a cinematographer, and it's really going to set you apart because when you're starting out doing cinematography, you're not probably going to get budgets where you can hire on a colorist who's super good and experienced. So if you're able to learn DaVinci Resolve and have those skills to be able to color grade your own work, it's just going to take your work to a whole nother level without having those huge budgets yet. Okay, so do I actually think this is worth it? And I kind of forget how much this costs at the moment. So lifetime Dehancer Pro is $450 USD, and I'm a little bit on the fence. I think if you're someone who's a colorist full-time doing a lot of film looks, then it could obviously definitely be a worthwhile investment. Also, if you're someone who wants to have like every single film look characteristic and all into one nice package, so halation, film grain, the film mats that they have, film breath, they kind of have it all covered, and obviously they have that super long list of film stocks that you can choose from too, then it'll probably be pretty hard to find a plugin better than this for that application. But someone looking to more casually do some film looks in their grade, I would definitely look at just the DaVinci Resolve Film Look Creator that's now in the newer versions of DaVinci. That's what I've been using lately to color grade some different projects, like a recent short documentary, and I love the results out of that. Obviously, it does have some caveats though, like for example, I believe you're only working with the Kodak 2383 film print within that, and you don't have flexibility on changing that. Once you apply Film Look Creator, you're kind of baked into getting that. So I'd say that Dehancer Pro is kind of the supercharged version of that, because you have so many options, and with the different film compression and those different film developer, the different options at the top of the plugin there, I think you can tweak things in, dial things in a little bit more finer. But that is quite a steep price tag. It's literally, I think that's like 1.5 times how much DaVinci Resolve Studio costs. So take that as you will. But I think Dehancer was super clutch for the application I had in this project. I didn't exactly end up doing a Tree of Life look, obviously. I think mine was quite a bit more vibrant and pushed a bit more, just because I wanted there to be a nice like color contrast between the different blue hour, warmer sunset scenes, and punch a little bit more color in. That's just kind of my style, so I wanted to still tailor it to that. I love that there's so many different film stocks to dive into in the software, and I still haven't dove into 99% of them. So I'm looking forward to just playing around more, as well as all the different options you have within the grain and halation to just tweak those in as much as you want. So I think it's going to fit into my future work really nicely, as I kind of get bored of using the same codec 2383 or just the built-in LUTs that are in DaVinci Resolve, which are amazing, by the way. And I think you can make some really great stuff with that. Can't say I was totally convinced of the price at first, or kind of now. It's like a little bit steep, I won't lie. But I will say it is a really amazing plugin. I think it's just that now there's a lot more competition potentially, and with the DaVinci Film Look Creator built in right into DaVinci, that's obviously an amazing option. I just wish you could actually select more different film stocks or film prints. So obviously that's where Dehancer would take the win. Thanks guys for taking the time to hang out today. Thank you Dehancer for letting me try out the plugin with my workflow. Hope you guys could take something away. Be sure to check out the I Do music video with Micah Sage when it comes out soon. I'll put it in the link in bio once it comes out.